All right, let's move it on. Adam Schefter dropped a little bit of a bomb today, saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he dropped two of them. He tried to counter it, and I'm going to be honest. I believe the first part. The second part, I think he's reaching on. Said that the Pittsburgh Steelers did call the Miami Dolphins to check in on Jalen Ramsey in the corner and to see if he's available. He also said that it's very unlikely that they end up with Jalen Ramsey in 2025. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If they called, I don't think it's very unlikely that they're going to end up with Jalen Ramsey this season. Maybe unlikely, maybe not favorable. They called. Very unlikely. They're on the board. The Pittsburgh Steelers have made themselves known. And that's all they did. They showed their hand to say, I mean, we're going to at least test and see what's out there, because if it works out, great. Well, what if it works out? What if the Pittsburgh Steelers have an opportunity to actually make this thing happen? And to me, this is the first sign of, if it does, if it could, which you never know in the NFL. People said the same thing about DK Metcalf until it happened. The Pittsburgh Steelers have said, hey, we're in the running. We are a team that has shown interest on the guy that, I don't know, maybe we've already ruled out, shouldn't have ruled out. Do you believe, Adam Schefter, has your mind changed on the Jalen Ramsey? Because you're not totally out on Jalen Ramsey and the Steelers, but you're not optimistic of it. Did it have any influence knowing that they've made a phone call to the Dolphins?
It keeps me just about the same, to be as boring as possible in my response. The key, I don't necessarily agree that, with your disagreement with Schefter, to try and put that together as cleanly as possible. I think the Steelers make calls the same way that I disagreed with the notion that the Steelers were not interested in Jair Alexander. Whether I'm wrong or right in terms of who, if anyone reached out or anything, I have no confirmation. But I don't buy that they had no interest. I don't buy that it's, quote unquote, very unlikely,
yes,
that he arrives. I just think that it's still not the most likely possibility. And I think that, the Steelers making a call does not sort of increase my hope in a certain player arriving, via signing or a trade or whatever the situation is. I just think the Steelers are, again, one of the best organizations and one of the most thorough organizations when it comes to evaluating opportunities. They are not always the quickest to pull the trigger. They often, miss on opportunities that a lot of us are clamoring for them to make, but they are always in on everybody. There's no doubting that. There's no faulting them for saying. You can never fault them or say that they are not in on somebody, because they always are making calls, doing their due diligence. But I don't think they're really going to land him any more today than I did yesterday. I think they're not out on him, but not, still remains an unlikely scenario, that an unlikely outcome, excuse me.
I will say that a lot of it depends on, and I agree with you. I don't think I'm going to bank on Jalen Ramsey ending up in Pittsburgh, and I haven't heard anything, I will say that the Pittsburgh Steelers went on a little bit of a streak there, where called the Chicago Bears about trading Chase Claypool, ended up trading Chase Claypool. Called the Chicago Bears again about potentially trading up, ended up trading up for Broderick Jones in the NFL draft. And then, the rest is history. Called the Seattle Seahawks, ended up with DK. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I still think it's not. It leans more no than yes. But I do think a lot of things could change. And I think it depends on other teams. What is the market for Jalen Ramsey? The one thing I'm almost certain of is that the Miami Dolphins are going to trade him. I don't have almost any faith that he'll stay in Miami this season. If he does not have a suitor, if the Miami Dolphins hit training camp or just before the season and teams are not calling, or teams are not making enough of an effort to increase their trade value or their trade package for him, I think the Steelers got a shot. So I think it relies on other teams knowing that they're in the race, but I would not rule Omar Khan out for saying, you're telling me all I got to do is give you a fourth and then a sixth next year? Yeah, all right, we can make that happen. Let's, here you go. Have fun, pal. Let's see let's see where this goes. You want James Pierre in the package? Great. There you go, pal. Have him, I'm just saying, I would not rule where we sit today. I would not rule it out. And I think I was like close to we're just kind of grabbing on to whatever we could. Oh, there's something there. Tangible evidence that the Pittsburgh Steelers at least have the name in the building for Jalen Ramsey.